Tastes like America and an 80-year-old Eastwood. American Sniper is a film about former Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle. And the film follows his life, mainly focusing on his 4 tours of duty and what happened between him, his fellow soldiers, and his wife. First off, I'm actually surprised that this movie ever came out, because honestly it was being jumped around so many times that it went from Steven Spielberg to a bunch of other directors, and same with the actors. And I had to admit that when I saw Bradley Cooper had been cast, I was a little bit hesitant, but then I saw that Clint Eastwood was directing it, and I was like, wow, okay, this should be good. You can say whatever you want about Eastwood's previous films, but the guy can still make good movies. He's pushing out as many movies as bloody Woody Allen is, and he's nearly pushing 90. So the last time that Eastwood touched war was obviously with Flags of Our Fathers and Iwo Jima, which were very good, compelling, but not pretentious anti-war films. American Sniper has some similar values, but it really goes off in its own direction because it really focuses on Chris Kyle's life. The funny thing about American Sniper being my first film of this year is that last year, my first film of January was Lone Survivor, another American war story. I was constantly comparing the two films. Lone Survivor is more like Platoon, whereas American Sniper is like Hurt Locker. It's because this film is focusing on Chris Kyle's interactions with his soldiers and just how he dealt with his own post-traumatic stress disorder. And now here's the thing that some people may be saying about how he got nominated because, oh, he didn't cry enough, or, you didn't really see him break down at all. But that's the thing about PTSD, is that it can be handled differently by people depending on their interactions with such events that would cause it. And what happened in Chris Kyle's life is extraordinary. What he went through is something I would never wish for anyone to go through. Not that saying that it's absolutely ball-breaking that he wasn't tortured to death, but his first kill, that scene alone is something that sets the mark for the rest of the movie. You're kind of going along saying, oh, well, this is kind of a little bit of a lighthearted Eastwood film, and then boom, right when that happens, you're just like, your balls are crushed. That's one of the things I like about this movie, is that Eastwood really focuses on the emotional disconnect that most snipers have. To be able to look down a barrel and be able to take away a life so easily is something that only few soldiers can do, and even fewer can deal with. Bradley Cooper does a really good job of conveying how Chris Kyle dealt with his PTSD. Instead of breaking down, he was a guy who could bottle it up, but every little thing that he would see when he came back home would remind him of combat, and it was kind of like a trigger. Like whether from a guy putting in a tire or from a dog barking. You could see in his movements and his face and his stiffness that he was having an anxiety attack. You see it build up with every tour of duty, and to the point where he almost just can't take it anymore. The one thing that did surprise me about this movie was Sienna Miller's acting. She does a really good job, which is honestly not normal of her. Really, you look it up, she not that great. She is kind of the stereotype home soldier wife, but she still conveys a really good connection with Bradley Cooper's character. And so far, one of my favorite parts about this movie is the editing. For the most part, it follows a traditional linear path, with cutting back and forth every so often. But with the sound mixing and actually being able to convey a lot of material and still not make it feel over congested, and making the audience ever so connected to the story, was really well done. I can see why it's nominated for Best Film Editing. However, I don't know why it's nominated for Best Picture. There's some CG in this film that's completely unnecessary and it looks awful. Either way, I really enjoyed American Sniper, and I can see why it got all the hype it did. I think that Clint does a great job, Bradley does a great job, Sienna does a great job, the film editing crew does a good job. The only thing is, obviously, just for its material, it's not very rewatchable. Most of these war stories aren't. Lone Survivor doesn't have nowhere near the same impact as it does when you watch it a second time, and same with American Sniper. American Sniper is really good. It has a few issues here, and just because of its lack of rewatchability, I'm going to give this film a 5 out of 7. I think it was really good, and I'm happy I saw it, but I'm still a little bit odded out on why it got Best Picture. Anyway, guys, this was actually the first of 2 movies I saw, the first one being a great one, the second one being an absolute stinker. That's going to be the next review. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying your morning tea. I'll see you guys next time. Buckle down.